how do you see Islam now? More for the viewers, yeah? What message would you give to them?
It's completely changed my life. Like, whereas before I was always not stressing, but I need to be here, or I need to get to this, and not kind of taking in what I already have, if that makes sense. Like, I was living too fast. Like, I need to be on to the next. Like, I need to get here, I need to get there, and then like not realizing what I already have. You need to, because it can be taken away. It can be taken away from you so quickly. You need to appreciate what you already have. Like, you're already a rich person. Well, myself, I am. I have a wife and 3 daughters. Like, alhamdulillah. Like, it's opened my eyes. Like, I live every moment, like every day, every moment, because it can be your last. So it's like, now I appreciate my life, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, I'm not the richest person, but I am the richest person.
Bismillah, and welcome to another episode of The Bridge. Today we have our dear friend Lewis, mashallah, originally from Deptford, which we go way back, so jazakumullah khair for coming. And just to head straight into it, how long you been a Muslim, firstly?
It's coming up 2.5 years now.
2.5 years, yeah? And prior to Islam, you was what? What would you call yourself?
I wouldn't say I was religious. My family grew up like Catholic mainly, but they weren't like going to church and things like that. So it's more like, come from a Catholic background. So I knew about religion, but we weren't really religious.
You didn't go like Sunday church or anything like that? Agnostic then, in essence?
Yeah. But no, I believe in like a God and things, but we just I weren't going to church and things like that. We just didn't follow a particular religion. Like.
Okay. So take us back. Where are you originally from? Like things like that.
So I was born Guy's Hospital in Southwark, but I grew up in Deptford.
Okay.
My family's always lived in Deptford, so yeah, I've been there from day one, really.
Okay. And how was life living in Deptford? And what years are we talking about now?
I was born in 94, so living in Deptford from like 95, 6. But then, yeah, grew up, it was good. I had both parents in my life, so I grew up with my dad and my mum. They weren't together, but both in my life, so I had a good upbringing. It wasn't too bad.
What primary school is that?
I went to Hughes Fields and then it changed to Charlotte Turner. It was round the back on Watergate behind the Adventure Playground.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I went to there.
Okay.
So it's close.
Yeah,
like 5 minutes.
It's like 5 minutes from your house, basically.
Yeah.
Because you live near Adventure, I think.
Yeah, I lived in the block
Okay.
opposite. You see, it's to the side of it, so on the right side.
Okay.
So as you come in the main gate, you had them blocks on the right where, like, do you know
where Oni used to live?
Yeah, Oni, yeah. I lived in the other one near him.
Okay.
Yeah, I lived there. Yeah.
You didn't know this guy there back in the day?
Yeah. Always an adventure, yeah.
Was it adventure?
It was younger, 16,
everyone
15. Everyone used to be an adventure. I know your days, you didn't have an adventure.
You know, I was thinking it's 8, 9 adventure, 16, 17.
Throwing stones.
Yeah, that 120 guys in there at one
15,
time.
He was young, man. 13, 14.
I was younger than him. I was in there.
Adventure those days was like, yeah, it was prior to gangs.
Yeah.
It was prior to gangs, but it was also a place where everyone kind of started to learn about gangs.
Yeah.
I would say from me, when I started going there, didn't know nothing about gangs. So sometimes that's why I have this kind of conflict when people talk about youth clubs. Why? Because for me, that was like the place where you had the triads before they became, triads was already there, but that was like the younger versions before they got into it.
Yeah.
You had obviously the black brothers, you had the white brothers, like everyone was there. And then slowly, those same people
they start to segregate.
Became gangs. Do you get it? So, yeah.
Probably starts off a little rift between, let's say, one ethnicity, and then they separate and it grows and gets into again. But he in terms of, he mentioned a lot of the Somali boys.
Yeah,
the older ones he knew, Soldier.
Yeah. What older Soldier? Everyone used to go adventure those days.
Yeah.
That was like the hub. Remember, nowadays everyone has phones and you can ring up, let's link up. But that was like the place you go to, and you know you're gonna see someone. You don't need to text no one or anything.
You'll catch one of your friends.
Exactly. You just go there, leave school, go there, have some fun, and then go home. Do you know what I mean? So originally that was like a fun place, and then slowly it became a negative place, I would have said.
So the bulk, just a question on that from Lewis, in terms of the bulk of the guys coming, they were non-Muslims.
I say it's a mixture.
Yeah, the mixture.
Where
I'm just saying,
Adventure?
yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you had
I'd
like,
say the Muslims predominantly were Somalian, I'd say. In Adventure.
It was cultural then.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like
Religious.
practicing people. We just
I say, my first introduction to probably Islam in like event would be Somalian. So,
Abdul Latif, yeah, mashallah.
yeah.
representing
You give it down at that time,
in a positive way.
Yeah, I'd say because other than that, I wouldn't say you wouldn't really associate someone as Muslim in Adventure unless you was like.
Yeah, the point I was trying to make was, okay, even though culturally, but did you see in that even then they're not that observant, but it's because of Islam.
You can see
there's some
the difference.
goodness. Yeah, that's you saw that.
Yeah, you can see because the way they treat themselves and their family, it was different. It was a lot more respect. Like that's why I see like even Soldier, when you see my nan, you'd be very respectful to my nan, even more than like me and my brothers.
Yeah,
and it was like, it was good to see what we learned from that. Like my nan would always say, this is how you should talk to me. And
Okay,
so we learned a lot from that. Because especially like, I had my dad in my life, but he absent but not absent. He's there, but he's not really up for. So I didn't have that father figure showing me, this is what you should do, this. And then my mum's at home, so it's like, she's a single mum with like 4 boys. So it's like, you're not going to learn too much from your mum in terms of respect. Like you need a man in your life to learn like respect to other people.
Did, how was it for you in terms of 15, 16, you got to secondary school? Was it Deptford Green?
Yeah, I went to Deptford Green. So when I went to Deptford Green is when I'd say it started to more split into gangs. So I went to school with more so you'd have like boys from Peeps, you have some people from like New Cross, and then that's when it starts to become a problem. There was a lot of problems in Deptford Green as I went there. There was
What year was that now?
2005 to 2010 I was there, yeah.
Okay.
So it's like a peak of like gang crime as it was coming up.
The point I was asking, did you get involved in it?
No. Me, so alhamdulillah, like my nan and that would keep me away from that. So especially Adventure as well. It was kind of a thing, but it also kept me away from it because I was with a group, but I would go home. So it's like I wouldn't stay late and then get involved in certain things. But I also had a lot of like my uncles and like I have cousins that was older than me, and I could see where it's going wrong. So I had that advantage, I suppose. I had a lot of older men going wrong, so I knew where to kind of navigate through. And then I started to get into sport. So in secondary school, it kind of kept me off that path.
Was it football?
No, I used to do taekwondo. So it's like a lot of discipline in it. So but I'd met a lot of good people through that as well, and we'd go like tournaments all over the country. So it just keeps you away from.
Yeah. Do you think that? Abdul Latif, do you think physical sports for boys, like say boxing, taekwondo, wrestling, does it help?
Yeah, I'd say it was.
Yeah, it definitely does help. I remember, I always remember this police officer that, I forgot his name, but I don't know, maybe I was 16 and this is after I probably got arrested once or twice, so probably 16, 17, yeah? And I remember those days you had a lot more police officers. Nowadays you don't really even see police officers. You can be a big gangster today.
You used to see a lot of police officers on foot.
Those days,
on
police officers was on foot. Like outside my house walking casual. Like, you're right, Abdul, and everything. Serious. That's like proper bad. So I remember one day he come outside my house, or he was just walking past probably, and he was like, look, you know what? I see you getting into trouble. Come to the boxing. And I remember the boxing right next to the pub in Blue Cage.
Yeah.
Upstairs, there's a pub, and then upstairs they used to do boxing.
Okay.
And I remember getting into that, and it did for a portion of my time. Doing that does give you this kind of like, I'm getting better at something, keeps you busy. You're tired after doing a workout, so you're never thinking, let me go and be messed up. You're just thinking, I've done a boxing match. Let me go home. I'm tired. I'm eat. By the time someone calls you to say, yo, come back out, it's like, I'm done. I'm tired. So I think there is a level of, if you're not already in that life, it can help you stay away from that life and on a straight path. I don't know how it went for you.
No, that's exactly how it was, because I was too busy to be like with my friends. I was always like training, so I'll train four times a week, and then I go swimming 4 times a week. So it just keeps you occupied. So you don't really have time to go off. But yeah, I did that till 19, I say. Yeah.
So did you
I had an injury, and then that stopped. And that's where my life kind of took a dip. Yeah. So I went from all that structure to then nothing. So like I had the injury, so I'm not fighting now, I'm not training, I'm doing nothing. And then I went on a little bit of a off. I'm thinking reset now. So it's like, what do I do? I didn't plan for nothing else. That was my focus. I was like, Olympics, that's me. I'm gonna go there.
Okay.
And then literally like six months before the 2012 Olympics is when the injury happened.
Wow.
And then it just dipped me, man, and the motivation went down. And then I had no plan B. So for like 2-3 years, I kind of just, I was doing madnesses. But then I met my wife, and then she kind of, because I had that, brought structure back into my life. I had something to focus on. And then, it kind of brought me back.
Yeah, just going back a bit. So, you mentioned up to 19.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, taekwondo, you're busy swimming. Was that push from mum and nan?
No. That was pure, like, from myself. I just enjoyed it. It was something, like, it was not by accident, but my dad used to do it. But he just took me there one day, and that was, like, from there, there was no pushing. It was just, I enjoyed it. As soon as it was, but I think it comes from, I wasn't that confident as a kid in terms of like speaking to people. So then being around that, it kind of, you're around so many different new people. And then eventually, like, it gives you confidence, like, to start meeting new people, and then, like, you grow in yourself, I suppose.
And have you got an older brother? Or
No, I'm the oldest. So I have 3 younger brothers and my 1 younger sister.
Okay, I was just trying to ascertain, look, is there somebody above you that was...
I had a cousin who grew up as like my brother, kind of thing. So like my nan fostered her nephew, who would be my cousin. And he kind of grew up as like my brother.
Right.
So like, because he's only 2 years older than me, so we was in the same house, growing up together. So I did have like an older brother figure, but not an actual brother. Yeah.
Okay, and when you mentioned the dip, there was a dip after 19, injury, didn't make it for the Olympics. What was that? What was it? Was it just like you're not working, you're not training? Or was it,
it was
a bit worse?
Not that I'm not working. I had no purpose. So it's like, what do I do now? Like, I haven't got a goal. I haven't got a job. So it's like, then I was like, started to go down the wrong path.
Okay.
Go into things I shouldn't, and then, but like, not too deep that I couldn't get myself out.
No.
I realized it was wrong, but obviously, like, I had no plan B, so it was like, what do I do now? And then that's when the father figure is like my dad in my life, but not in my life. So not like saying, oh, you should do this, like where I didn't have if you have someone older that can say, look, you need this in place. As you're an adult, you're going to need these things. I didn't have that. So it kind of, that's where I went wrong. Yeah, I think.
MashaAllah. I mean, in terms of education, training, because I know you're a carpenter, you do joinery. When did that happen? Was that
was a lot later, yeah. So I started carpentry when I was about 26.
Okay.
And then I got into it from there. But I did a lot of building work. So when I got with my wife, and obviously I started to work again. So I got a construction card at the time, so the green labouring card. And then that's how I got into construction from that. But my dad worked in construction, so I like to work with my hands, so I knew that obviously now I needed to find something to do. So I went into construction and just played about a little bit, like seeing what I wanted to do. I did a little bit of plumbing. I worked with different trades just to see, and then obviously carpentry just took my interest because there's a bit more variety to it in terms of what you can do in work. So you can either be fitting kitchens one day or like roofs, or you can go and fit doors. It just changes a bit more. You got a bit more flexibility.
Michelle, there was a discussion we had just before you came. I asked him a question. I said, are you on social media? He goes, not really, but on Instagram, maybe a bit. So discussion was around what's being a man.
What's being a man?
You know, so there might be a
characteristics of being a man.
Yeah. So I was telling him, like, Lewis, in terms of, like, you might have a brother or a guy on social media, on YouTube, and he's talking about being a man, but he's not there for his wife and kids. And a brother like Lewis is, not on social media that much.
But being there for
He's a carpenter. It's a man's job. Out of the house, working, providing. Who is a real man? So I don't know your take on that. Would you think? Because that's,
some might say you're being sexist right now. I'm just going to help you out though. They're going to say there's women carpenters out there.
Yeah. But
That's how messed up the society is, Sheikh. You can't even say policeman nowadays.
Yeah,
You have to say police officer. Serious things. I'm only telling you the things I hear. Like, you'll be listening to the radio and the guy has to question himself. Oh, sorry, I can't say policewoman or policeman. I have to say police officer. It's like, get out of here. So carpentry, yes, originally was a man.
Yeah. There is women entering construction.
There are women nowadays. You see women carpenters.
A lot more electricians, guys.
Veins and everything. If you want that for a wife, for the hand, like you take that woman. But yeah, there are women plumbers out there now. Women truck drivers.
Yeah.
They got there.
But I suppose. Yeah, so
I was gonna go back to a point you made though, which is another topic, which is you said you was down for a while until you met a woman.
Yeah.
So there's something unique about that, meaning there's something in men, and I can't obviously talk about for women because I can't think of a woman saying, "Oh, well, I was down until I found a man," and the man, I don't know about that story. For men though, I do find a lot of stories where they're down, they find a woman, and that woman gives them, depending on what type of woman, obviously,
of course,
gives them a sense of responsibility, someone to feed, someone to look after, and then they feel like
push.
Why though? That's the question for me. Why didn't you think of and the same to push you into any position? But this is just a normal conversation because many men say this.
Yeah.
Why is it that we needed a woman to give us that rather than we just done it ourselves before she came along? Because you were down until you found someone.
I think it's more like if you're responsible now, so like it becomes a responsibility. So
when you found her, what was like the feeling? Like, I have to do something for her?
Yeah, because now you feel like I have to provide for her.
The man.
Yeah.
I need to protect. I need to work. I need to.
But I think that comes again from like me seeing my grandfather do it for my nan. Like my nan, like he's always made sure my nan's alright. Like it's. I think it comes from that sort of.
But you know what? I think it's also natural.
Yeah. That's like it comes from like instinct. I suppose. Like if you meet someone, then you want to be responsible for that person. Like
there's a verse in the Quran,
especially
Allah says,
like if it's your wife or you want to be responsible for them. You don't want them to be working hard. It's like, but it also has a kind of like they push you up as well. So they kind of
whip and told you get up.
No. But no, like that's what I'm saying. She's a good influence. Like she always like not push me to the point where it's like making you feel like you're not a provider, but like give you that little kick to say, look, you need to do better. Yeah. You need to do better. Otherwise, you're gonna stay here.
And I think it's both ways. Because you know the verse, Surah Rum. And from our signs of Allah being great, is I've created for you spouses.
Yeah.
And placed between you love and mercy. Meaning both ways. It pushes the man, it pushes the woman. Because look, that's the natural way you've been made. Man and woman, husband and wife. That's the most intimate, close relationship. Yeah. And it's positive both ways.
Yeah, I do find, I'm just saying, it probably is both ways. I'm just, from the men's perspective, I do find a lot of stories where men are down.
Yeah,
and then they say they found a woman, and then that gives them like, or there might be even men, but then they have a child. Yeah, and then a child gives them a sense of purpose.
Push again, I say like, because I got content, I suppose, like not like in a bad way, just flatline. Like, so I've got job now, and I'm with my wife, but like, it's just now where we're going.
You can become complacent
for like 6 years. I don't have a child, so then. My first daughter was born, and it changes everything. Now you're like, this is a new level. You know what I mean? So like, you're now providing for someone that ain't asked to be here. So it's like, you got now
even more.
Yeah. So you got to push yourself even harder now. So it's like, because especially like I didn't have like I was okay. Yeah, I had a mom, but I didn't have a lot. So it's like, nah, I don't want my child art. I want this. And then like they can't have that. I didn't want that for my kids. I wanted them to experience life a bit more. And I think that's where it's kind of my conflict now. Is I want to do I work harder or do I stay at home more? This is where that battle in my head's coming from now as well. Again now.
Tell you a funny story. Brother came a couple of years ago, and he's come to get married. Nikah, Islamic marriage, laughing, joking, this and this, real lively. Yeah. Alhamdulillah, done in the car. I see the brother straight-faced, like serious. And I said, what happened? Yeah, she's gone, by the way. His dad was there. The dad said, it just hit him. responsibility.
Yeah.
Like, he just went kind of like quiet.
You can't even make joke no more. From that moment.
Yeah. He probably understood what, you know what, like it's a big responsibility.
gravity.
Yeah, the gravity of it.
I think there's a level to it though. I think, yes, it's a very important thing, marriage, etc. But when it comes to, and I'm talking more criticizing our way of life in the sense of how many of us practice it, and what the criticism is maybe from the woman's side is that maybe a lot of men do take it way too more serious, and so it's a bit rigid. That's the criticisms that I hear anyway. that's the criticism that I hear from the Muslim sisters, that, you know, once men get married or whatever, they're a bit rigid.
No counseling sessions going on.
And remember, it's not a counseling session, and remember, we live in the West. And so the majority of what you see is to some degree opposite to our way of life. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe the whole lovey-dovey outside, holding hands, kissing outside. I don't know, whatever the romantic movies show you should be doing, you might not necessarily see that in your household. So you think to some degree that your men, the Muslim men, are a bit more rigid and take life a bit too serious. And the men outside are fluffy and laughy. And do you get what I mean? So I think that might be that brother's issue. Where he's just
Or could it be?
I don't know. Could it be? Where are you going with this? I don't know.
I'm asking, could it be where sometimes the Muslims are following more culture than the Sunnah of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam,
in their
in
house.
that rigidity that you're saying, talking about?
Yeah.
Because the Prophet was a man of emotion, a man that expressed love, a man that showed love. So yeah, it's a discussion, man. Not the podcast for it.
Behind the scene on, yeah. Mum doesn't like to bring the behind the scenes stuff to the forefront, yeah. But yeah, all right, cool. So let's go back a bit because we've jumped to a few things. School days, obviously you said it started to get a bit.
Yeah.
But you never went into the streets.
No. So
which is a beautiful thing personally.
Yeah.
I don't remember personally seeing you as like
no. Yeah.
I just remember you as a young kid,
But
to me, to be fair. But
I think that comes from the lessons learned. Like
of the
my
people
uncles
around
went
you.
prison very early, from like I was 9, and like they're going away for long periods of time. So I'm like, that's not really what I want. So I had,
But that's the opposite to a lot of other people.
yeah.
So that's what's, it's a bit unique. Whenever I see someone that tells me that they was raised up in a place that's bad, they might not have the best role models,
Yeah.
and you still decided to be a more, I would say, a civilized person, because we was uncivilized by doing bad things. So to some degree, a civilized person. That takes a lot of courage, bro.
Yeah, man. It's hard to see where it comes. 'Cause it's either like, I just don't know, like I've never drunk, I never smoked, I never did none of that. That's what it's about.
Wow.
I didn't want to do it. It's just like no one could pressure me into doing it. Obviously, I had the people pressuring me. Oh yeah, come let's have a joint. No, but I just don't know, man. It wasn't for me, so it was easy for me to kind of avoid it, like because I knew I'm not doing that. So, but I think it was just in me. Like I don't want to. That's why, like reverting to Islam was quite easy for me, because the life fits me. This is what from young, obviously, I didn't really know about Islam. I knew what, it's a religion, whatever, but you don't, if you're not around Muslims, that you're not really gonna know. Like I didn't even know it's similar to Christianity, that they have similar beliefs.
Yeah,
you don't think none of that. So I'm just, until I got a lot older, and you start to hear things, and then I read, like my uncle then reverted, so then I learned a bit more, so it intrigued me a bit more, so I learned a bit more. And then you start to put things together, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, but this kind of fits me.
Probably go to that story then. So how did you start becoming or start thinking of Islam?
Probably mainly from my uncle reverting, because then it intrigued me. So I wanted to know what it's about.
Would this be now?
Yeah, maybe 2013.
Okay,
but like that just stayed with me. It weren't like it was over years of trying to intrigue. So it sparked.
Did he tell you that? Like
no. I was intrigued by it. So I wanted to know what he was getting into, what he's reading about. So
no, but I'm saying, did he tell you about his Islam? Like he became Muslim, or did someone tell you?
No. I see him one day, like on a visit. So I see him, but he looked a bit more at peace. So it's like I was intrigued by it. So that's what. And then obviously when I read into it, it fits me. So like it was easy for me. That's why. But it was more just learning knowledge. I didn't want to just jump straight into it, but I knew that the no drinking, this is all things that I, like would just be easy for me. It's not a hard decision.
Yeah, you
for
already
me to-
practiced that.
Yeah, so that's that side of things didn't. It was more I wanted to learn like the specifics of the religion. So learning like what about God and things like the take on it. So like how different it was from things. Does it align with my beliefs and things like that. That's the more side that took me longer to accept, basically.
You mentioned, I mean, your wife was
Yeah.
studying it more before.
So basically, yeah. So fast forward probably to when I'm with my wife now. So probably 22 is probably the time she started looking into it. And then it's basically made me push myself even more to look. So she's looking into it and saying, like, if I was a man, this is something that I'd be interested in. Like she was looking into it. She's like
At the same time, basically.
Yeah, she was so a bit before me, like in terms of seriousness in looking into it. And then it made me look into it more seriously, if that makes sense. Like, because now I'm thinking, okay, so this is something she looks as like not like a blueprint, but like she can see the value in it. So like it's a good way of life. She can see that. And then so obviously it sparked me looking into it more. And then that's one of those things that when I came to the masjid, I asked to buy a Quran. That's why, and I learned, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to sit at home and read it, like just non-stop, just go through it. Because that's what I think is life takes you, like when you're trying to read it and it's like you're not really focusing on it, it can slip your mind a bit. Like I think, and then that's when after my daughter was born, I took a serious thing into like the way I want to live my life. And then when I started reading, the more it just grips you, and then you just.
Sorry, you read the whole Quran before taking the Shahada?
Yeah. So and I came and then you gave me the easier version. So the other one I was reading was a bit harder to not follow, but it was
to grasp.
A bit like didn't flow as easy as the one you gave me the next time. Remember? And then once I read that one as well, then it a lot more easier. It stayed in my mind more. But yeah, I wanted to read it obviously because I don't want to take Shahada and then read the book and you don't know, like, oh, you come along. I didn't know this was part of it. And now you're having second thoughts. I didn't want to question it. So that's
what book did he give you? Like Thou Shalt and all that kind of stuff?
No. No, he gave me the Oxford, he gave me the Oxford version that I bought. It was, I think it was, I can't remember which one.
What did he give him?
The Noble Quran was the other one from the shop.
Yeah, that's like the one that's given out.
Brackets and stuff.
Yeah, so it was a bit harder to flow with it. But the Oxford one was a bit easier. It just read easier.
Professor Abdul Halim, the one who's a professor in SOAS University, his translation.
Yeah, that's just, it just read a little bit easier. So it was a bit more easier to maintain the information.
Okay.
But yeah,
and when you read it, I don't know if you've come past this. There's this guy who on YouTube, he spent I think 5-7 days, and he recorded it like
of
reading the whole Quran, taking notes and everything, and he was just like pointing out all of the things that we agree with, obviously.
Yeah.
Non-Muslim or a Muslim?
Non-Muslim. Okay. Non-Muslim, and he was intrigued by all of the topics that.
I'm seeing a lot more people reading like the Quran.
So the point I'm just making in that is, what did you find from it though that made you think, okay, obviously yes, your uncle is a Muslim, so that's someone to look up to. But then, what was it about Islam?
It's the way the book. It's more like it speaks to you. It's not like you're reading like a story. It's more like it kind of applies to your like what you're doing. You're like certain you'd read something and you think, oh, that applies to me, and I think that's what keeps you reading. And like it's different. It's a different.
You see yourself in the stories.
Yeah. So it's a different experience. So like when they explain like a story of like going through a pain, or it's more personal. So it's like it's speaking to you. Like whereas when I read like a Bible, it's reading more stories. It's not like someone directly speaking to you. So saying like, oh, it's saying, oh, this is what someone did. Do you know, if it makes sense, it's like, that's what I find the difference between reading the two.
Yeah, I think in the Bible, I haven't read much of it, to be frank. I read a bit of it when I was inside.
Yeah.
No TV, so I had to read it. But
it's more like a textbook.
I find more parables in the Bible.
Yeah.
like there's a lot of parables in the Bible, whereas the Quran has parables as well, but there's a lot of also direct speaking to the reader.
Where I think the Bible, that's where it lacks. It doesn't have that same
You say to
impact.
Ladina, those you believe, or like it will talk.
So that's what I'm saying. So now you're thinking, oh, it's speaking to me now. Yeah. So instead of reading, like, you feel like you're reading a book, you're not reading. It doesn't feel like you're reading a book.
And I used to, like, if somebody asks, well, can I have the Quran? I say, look, take this book.
Yeah.
Not the Quran. Take this book about Islam. And if you're still interested, come back and I'll give you a Quran. Thinking in my kind of like, perception that, they won't be able to relate to the Quran. Because like you said, like, it's not a story. Other than Surah Yusuf, Prophet Joseph. But everything, Moses' stories in different chapters and Ibrahim's different chapters.
It's hard to follow it.
It's hard to follow. But it was Danny would say, look, you know what? The Quran is the word of God. If somebody asks me, I give them the Quran. And I started doing that.
I think that's.
And an amazing thing is, it's right.
Because it's not a book.
It's the word of God. It's the word of Allah. Of course, it's going to make sense. And it's going to touch, like you said, it's directly to you. So a lot of brothers have come.
It's a different experience.
As if Allah is speaking to me.
That's what I'm saying. So like when you read certain things, you're like, oh, okay, like I need to be a bit more like prepared.
Relevant to everyone. Yeah.
I think it's similar to that story when they talk about, Umar radiallahu anhu, when he went to
his sister.
But before that,
when he towards the Prophet, peace be upon him.
No, but before that, when he heard the Prophet is near the Kaaba and he's listening to him, and then he's saying, "Look, this guy must be a magician." And then the verse that he's reading says that he's not a magician, and then this guy must be this. And then there's many times, even myself, that you read the Quran and you're going through a specific thing at that particular time. And that story is right there in front of your face.
That's what I say, it connects to what you're going through. It's a bit different. That's where. Whereas when I read the Bible, this feels more like a text. That's why it just feels like, oh, you're reading this thing, but it doesn't impact you the same way.
You will have at the end, by the way, on this YouTube, someone added some Jesus. Have you noticed that? Or is it me? Like every time you talk about Islam, remember it's on Instagram, all these, and someone comes and says, Jesus was the thing. And I'm like, I said to someone the other day, but we follow Jesus.
I
don't know what was your point of writing that. We follow Jesus. Like this ain't
my mom's, I was speaking to my brother, so my brother's like Christian. So we have like a back and forth with me.
Okay.
So he's like the second oldest, Billy, but he respects, like, he understands why I'm Muslim. Like, he respects it. That's it. He actually takes the time to learn.
Okay, mashallah.
So that's why it's good. He's slowly learning more. But my mum obviously was listening to the conversation me and my brother were having, and she mistakenly, she was like, so what are you going to do when Jesus comes back? And I was like, I hope he comes back because I'm going to be wrong otherwise. And then my brother was like, Mum,
we're on the same page.
You realise that they believe in like Jesus, and she's like, oh, she kind of caught her off guard. And that's like this is where I think like the impact of no one doesn't actually know true Islam.
A lot of people,
like a lot of people think it's something completely different. Whereas it's not.
It's not.
Like, it's so similar.
Very similar.
That's what caught me by surprise. Is like I didn't realize it's the same prophets. Like you don't until you actually learn. You like the average English person doesn't know. It's just even an English person doesn't even realize Christianity is not like a Western thing. It's not. This is they don't really, like. Me and my brother's having a discussion of like an Arab Christian speaks Arabic. They don't understand that they say a lot. And it's like. It confuses them. It's like, why is
there's a lot of ignorance. There's definitely a lot of ignorance when it comes to Jesus and how much Jesus is revered in Islam. I think maybe that gap is obviously slowly going to decline as the years go.
It's slowly being more apparent that like they are similar like religions, but that's what I think is what needs to be.
Did I mention about for the red print Bible? Did I mention that?
The red print Bible.
Yeah. So the King James version as a version where maybe 1/3 is in red print, the rest is in black. So the red print, Christian scholars, this we believe to be the words of Jesus Christ. The rest we're not sure of. What's in red, maybe about 1/3. We are sure these are the words of Jesus Christ according to our tradition. So there's a brother who came, he said, look, is this what they're saying? He's a Christian. Let me just read the red print. Why am I going to read
the rest? Why would you read the rest?
These are his words. And he read the red print. So this is Islam. And he became a Muslim.
Through reading the red print.
Just that from the King James version.
What they say is from
Because it's exactly the same.
100%.
It's only the 80% that you've added in. That's where that's where it goes a bit wrong.
That's why I said that the stories of Jesus match Islam. So it's just like,
Did he eat pork?
this is what I say to my brother. It's
Was he
hard. Like,
circumcised? You know, there's so many things which
Yeah.
it's just Islam.
But they eat pork
Now, but Jesus Christ.
you're not meant to. Yeah.
and they drink.
Yeah.
That's the part that confuses me when people say they're Christians. It's like, but you drink, you eat pork, you don't dress modestly, you sleep around. Like, I don't get it.
The alcohol was more, I say in the Middle East, like when you look into that's more, they didn't have clean water. So they drank a lot of alcohol because it was safer to drink alcohol than it was to drink water.
Okay.
Because they didn't boil their water, so it had bacteria in that. So that's why a lot of medieval like Europe would drink ale, like ale.
Alcohol.
Because it was
cleaner than water.
It was safer to drink than the water.
Crazy.
But also, you know what, when Christianity came into the Roman Empire,
Yeah.
so Roman beliefs became Christian.
It mixes,
beliefs. It's just, you know, paganism. They were pagans.
That's
So when they started mixing the two, Christian believed the Christmas tree that's coming from a Roman
that
tree.
comes from like
You know,
Scandinavia.
it's a kind
Yeah,
of
it's
worship
like-
it.
So it's a pagan tradition. It's the winter solstice.
Yeah, but look at Mary.
Yeah.
The depiction of Mary.
Yeah.
But what is she wearing?
So that's what I'm saying.
Like, you're trying to ban hijab in
But
so
even
many
at,
European
like,
countries. She's wearing hijab. Huh?
If you look at like Arab Christians, they veil a lot. Like when they pray and stuff.
That's the funny thing. There was an article I read a while back, and they were describing the nuns.
Have you seen? I think there's a video of like a British women in like the 1910,
Yeah, I've seen it.
and they're all
Scarves and
covered.
long
Yeah,
dresses. But in this discussion, you know, so they were comparing how they describe nuns.
and how and
The
America.
nun, pious, right?
And then a woman that wears hijab is
Modest,
oppressed. Yeah.
shy. The Muslim woman, oppressed. You know,
That makes
forced
no
away.
sense. Yeah, that makes no sense.
It's the same people.
No, it's just like different
That-
people, but speaking
articles.
about articles.
Yeah, they're saying that how like some people would describe a nun as being a pious woman and things like this.
Yeah.
And then a woman that wears it, she's oppressed, but they're wearing the same things.
Well, yeah, because it's subjective in it to some degree, because the person who's obviously telling the story believes that it's that, and it's the same person.
But that makes that's when you can go again. It comes from it's like priests and nuns wear very similar things to Muslims, and then the rest of Christianity doesn't
I didn't
wear
think
anything
about it.
close.
The priest wears a khamisi, man.
Yeah, like a phobe. It looks like a phobe.
I just realized.
Listen, forget that funny story. You know what? There's an Egyptian, Sheikh Taha.
Yeah.
Sheikh Taha, where's he from?
Sheikh
Egypt.
Taha.
Sheikh Taha is from Egypt.
Okay.
Doesn't like wearing black thobe and a black hat. So he said, "Want to wear it?" Shaquille, look,
They figure-
can you not wear it? She said, "Sheikh, why?" Because the Christians in Egypt wear black. They
Yeah.
said, "Got a beard."
They look like
He goes,
yeah,
"No."
they do, that's true. Yeah. In Egypt they do all black hat.
Like you're a Coptic Christian.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
wear something
yeah.
else.
You can't get confused. This is the thing. You
But,
can't get
but no Christians dress like that, so it doesn't make sense. Like, why if the people in the highest of your religion wear these things and they dress modest, why do the rest not do this? Why do they follow that but you don't follow that?
Well, obviously the truth of that would be that the majority of the West nowadays don't really follow Christianity. It's a cultural thing now. At this point of life, it's a
and this
cultural
is where the
thing.
ignorance comes in now, I think, like, is
For what?
between the two religions, because people don't understand that where they're so used to not seeing it, like the women dressing like this, and
Yeah.
it's now become two different worlds, so that they can't relate to Islam because it doesn't relate to them no more. I think
They think it's a foreign thing.
Yeah.
When really and truly your way of life calls to it.
exactly the same. They would be dressing like this, so it's like makeup. Yes.
So to go forward now to, okay, maybe when you became Muslim now then.
Yeah.
And was there something particular that said, you know what, I'm going to be a Muslim?
No, it was it's definitely
it was
a
a
mixture.
combination.
Yeah, it's a combination of things. But I suppose, like my daughter, when she had it's like a benign tumor, it's like a blood vessels, but she had it on the inside and it caused like a
Benign
internal.
is cancer.
No, like a non-benign. So sorry.
okay.
So like but it's a collection of blood vessels, but it burst. So she had an internal bleed, but I thought she was gonna die.
Okay.
So that was a big moment for me. Like, it's that easy to lose someone. You're not guaranteed anything. So I was like, how can, I'm her father, it's just taken away from me. So I was like, and it starts you to think questions like, have I done this? Do you know what I mean? Am I going to go here? Am I going to go here? Am I going to see my daughter? Do you know what I mean? So that's, I think, was a big turning point for me. It made me a bit more aware, like, I need to kind of accept
A higher being.
Yeah. So like I need to accept that I need to do certain things and live a certain way because I'm not guaranteed to be here tomorrow. No one is. It was a very eye opener. Like it can be taken away from you that quick.
Even that concept though, you see, like a lot of people talk about, and again it goes back to this whole atheism, agnostic kind of mindset where people say, why do bad things happen?
Yeah.
But it's just how you look at things.
Yeah. It's not.
You chose to look at it in a positive way and think,
Yeah.
let me go look to God. Whereas other people think, why did that happen to me? Why was it my daughter? There is no God. Do you get it? So you've chosen to choose that as a significant thing and let me look towards God and there is a higher being and I'm going to be whatever. Whereas someone else has that same situation. And we think, why is it me? Yeah. Why is it my kid? Why there is no God? Because you wouldn't have happened. Do you get it?
Yeah. But I think that's when it comes back to like, the guidance is there for a reason. Do you know what I mean? He wants you to come back to him of your own free will. Do you know what I mean? It has to be coming from like sincere place.
Yeah, 100%.
So like I think that's what opened me up. I think, and then looking into it further, like, and it's the mercy side of it. This is the difference I think between like when you read the Bible, when you read, like, you have that connection with God. Whereas in the Bible, like there's always something there, like a middle person, or like why can't we
just talk that
God? So, and that's what changed when I did Salah and I started to pray. And it's
before
like,
you became Muslim.
Yeah. So like I would pray myself after that, after my daughter, and then it's like I'm talking directly to God. Why am I don't need to talk to someone else? Why would I talk to someone else? And then I think that's what really grew like a relationship between me.
You pray Salah properly, as in
yeah.
You learn the prayer.
I started to pray first, the actions first. I didn't know the thing first, but obviously in my own head, I would be praying, like talking.
So how long? 2 years, isn't it? 2.5 years?
2.5 years. So in February, I think it'll be 3 years. So.
3 years, yeah. Looking back, the 2.5 years or 3 years in Feb, how do you see Islam now? I mean, more for the viewers, yeah. What message would you give to them?
It's completely changed my life. Like, whereas before I was always not stressing, but I need to be here, or I need to get to this, and not kind of taking in what I already have, if that makes sense. Like I was living too fast. Like I need to be on to the next. Like, I need to get here, I need to get there, and then like not realizing what I already have. You need to, because it can be taken away. It can be taken away from you so quickly. You need to appreciate what you already have. Like you're already a rich person. Well, myself, I am. Like, I have a wife and 3 daughters. Like, alhamdulillah, like it's opened my eyes. Like I live every moment, like every day, every moment, because it can be your last.
MashaAllah.
So it's like now I appreciate my life, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, I'm not the richest person, but I am the richest person. I have everything that I need. Like I am happy. Like if I went tomorrow, I'm happy. It's like I know that I'm not trying to. I know I'm going on the right path. I'm trying to get there. It's like
just one more thing, Lewis. So alhamdulillah, you took shahada, and I mean this is why that discussion around being a man might not be easy being a man, because there's a lot of what you call it leadership, responsibility, accountability. So he was married with 3 kids, and we had a discussion, and I said, look, your wife's a Christian, marry her. Marry her, be that person responsible. So alhamdulillah, he married his wife Islamically at the masjid. She even came with, hijab or, modest dress and so on. So how did you feel about that? And how did she take that when you proposed?
I needed that step because obviously I needed it to be Islamic. Like, I needed to be married to my wife. So, but I appreciate, obviously, it's the small things. That's what I say. Like in Islam, you don't find that anywhere else. Like you paid for my nikah. It's the small thing. I'd never experienced that before. It's them little things show you like.
Don't let everybody else know.
Yeah. The good, but it shows you the good.
He didn't pay for my nikah.
No, but
I didn't know you paid for nikah, man.
No, but it comes from a good place. You know what I'm saying?
Refund or something.
It comes from a good place, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate it.
He's got the back, mashallah.
No, but I didn't expect. Like he didn't need to. I didn't need him to.
No, mashallah.
But he did. I mean, so like, but then I paid that forward. So it's like yeah, I appreciate that. So I bless someone else. So this is how that's how it goes. But yeah,
so one thing important. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, yeah. So, but marrying my wife was a major thing for me because I needed that. Like that's my house, that's my wife. Now I needed that kind of structure. That I've married my wife. There's no haram stuff. Like I needed that because that's what it was called. When I first became Muslim, I was like, oh man, like how do I get away with this? Like, I've been with her this many years. I have kids, and that was playing on me. And it was only when you said like marry her, I was like, I'm gonna do it. It made sense. Like at first, I was thinking it's such a hard thing, but then he was like, no, it's simple. Just marry her. And then it was like I didn't have no extravagant. I came to we married. That was it. We went to see our family after. That was it. That's simple. But
you didn't do no 50 bag.
No.
That's the new rules now, man.
No. My wife's good. Man. I was praying that she's gonna take Shahada all the time. That was my main focus. It's like
don't mention that yet because I want to come to that.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So it was I got married and it completely changed the dynamic. Because now like
your house is wholesome.
Yeah. So like now it's together. So like my kids. So everything was going nice. It just went smooth. I felt good in my life. That was the good thing.
And she always supported you in your Islam
always,
and your practicing.
Yeah, she's very like, even when my family members, like they make jokes, but obviously it's a joke, but it can affect you. Like
what type of jokes? I want to have a laugh.
No, so like my mum and dad they'll say, what are you doing all that business? You know? So, like it's but when people are constantly like, this is, I think as well, is that's what I struggled with.
Business, I think like salah.
Yeah, like I struggled early on is with obviously being the only Muslim.
In your house.
Yeah,
obviously.
Because obviously like my mum and that, not ignorance, but they didn't know. So they would throw the little jokes. And
but not in like in a negative
way.
No,
it's not in a negative way. They just have
like,
it like obviously it eats at you after a while. You're thinking like, this is a struggle, you know. No one's getting me.
Ramadan.
Yeah, no one's getting me, and it's like only my brother, the younger one, because he was looking. He obviously he reads both, so he knows the differences. And he obviously he knows that. He said, "Bro, it's good. Like he's gone to God. Like he's like it's not."
How did your mom take it? We didn't even ask that. How did your mom take when you said you're Muslim?
That's what I'm saying. Like they took it, but. There's still, like, I'm still having to battle with her a little. She's like, are you still Muslim? Like, you really gonna keep doing that? I'm like, yeah. Like, it's a battle, but slowly I'm trying to get there. But
inshallah.
My dad's side, like she's more religious, like my nan on my dad's side. So she took it, like, it's a good thing, like, he's close to God. So she didn't really look at it that way. But like, it's just more my mum is a bit more of the thing, she's not really getting it, but like, inshallah,
I think the good thing, when you're speaking here and people are listening, because they've made it seem it's foreign.
Yeah.
It's a foreign thing.
Yeah, that's what it comes back to. That's why mum was like, you don't want to do all of that. And I'm like, do all of what? It's the same thing.
Yeah. You're English. How can you be a Muslim?
Yeah. This is where they come. This is exactly the conversation I have.
Or ethnicity.
Yeah, that's right.
Faith. You can be from anywhere.
She was quite surprised. I showed her a lot of the shahadas. You see my mum, and then she see a lot of white people. She's like, what are they doing all in there? I said, there's a lot of white people in Lewisham Mosque. Like she didn't understand. Like slowly there's little pieces getting in there.
So interesting, one called me one day and he said, look, my wife's relative is looking into Islam and she has some questions. I said, oh cool, let her come down. So the wife's relative came, but his wife came as well. I think we had an hour's discussion, a lot of questions that relative was asking. Yeah, and at the end she said, look, you know what? Yeah, and because she's not from here, London, she's from North England. She said, yeah, I'm going to take some books. I'll look into it. I'll get back to you. At the end, the wife said, well, you know what? Actually, I want to take my shahada.
No way.
So I don't know if you want to...
Yeah, I didn't even know. So he texted me. He said, I have some good news. I was crying. Because I didn't know. She did it on her own. So that's... But this is where I was saying when we had the dinner, like, you need to be aware. Because, like, yeah, obviously I was the only Muslim, but that's a big responsibility now. Because that means people are looking at you as a Muslim. They're learning from you, like, what you do, how you're doing things, like, what are your values. And that's what I think a big thing is, like, you never know who's looking into Islam. and you can be the pivot point of where if they turn to Allah or not. So that's and then my wife, I didn't even know, and then just from observing that and reading, she then came to Shakil and took her shahada.
Crazy.
So it was like,
You know, one thing I've learned over the years, the brothers who become Muslim, and they say they marry their non-Muslim partners Islamically. I haven't seen a negative case.
Yeah.
Meaning every single wife has ended up becoming a Muslim.
Yeah.
And the reason being, and I always ask this question, I just say, look, you know what? So your husband became a Muslim. You know, how was he? He improved, became a better person.
Yeah.
Because of Islam. You know, so it might be a year, 2 years, 3 years, eventually. Because look, Allah gives us, and the Messenger gives us the guidance of how to be a man and how to be a husband. Okay, that's coming from Allah, not from society, not the role models they give us. The best of role models. So of course, you know, if you're loving, if you're mercy, if you're kind, you're not hitting, you're not abusing, what's going to happen? And that's because before you were something else, atheist, Christian, whatever. Now you're a Muslim and you're doing this because it's coming from the guidance of Islam. Yeah. It's going to have an impact.
So like, even when I became Muslim, like she stopped all pork in my house straight away. Like that was gone from my house for years now. Like, and she didn't, but she sees the benefits. Like I don't even. This is I went to my mum's house and they cooked bacon. So my brother, he's like, "Oh, you can't be in here." It's like, okay. So they're making a joke about it, but my mum's like, "You've had so much bacon, you can't be a Muslim." I was like,
"You got so much in your system."
Yeah, she said, "You already got too much in your system." And I was like, but she's like, "Oh, you don't miss it." I was like, "No, I don't miss it." It gets to that point, like it's not a major thing. Like, at first, I struggled because I'm so used to you're used to eating the foods, and then it's like, but like for days I'd think about it, and like is it really that bad? And then all of a sudden, like after weeks, it goes back. I don't even look at the whole section.
Yeah, so you got the turkey bacon now.
Oh yeah, I've tried, but it's okay. It's not.
It's not the same.
No, to be fair, it doesn't taste that different.
Okay.
And I
don't know what the thing is about
it's like,
I've told you that story when I ate it when I was
not,
young.
I think it was more the smoked flavour is what I liked. So it's like if you get smoked turkey bacon, it tastes exactly the same. I don't get a different taste.
It's a funny story. So this brother telling me, you know, like my greatest fitna in Islam is
that's his biggest trial, yeah?
Yeah. So I'm thinking it's got to be a woman. It's got to be maybe drinking bacon.
My brother had the same story. A Turkish brother. He said, "I can't stay away from the bacon."
Turkish?
Yeah. He's Muslim. He plays football, but he said, "I have to eat bacon." I said, my brother said, "Bro, you're Muslim." He said, "You can't eat bacon." He's like, "Bro, it gets me."
Introduce him to turkey bacon.
Yeah, that's what my brother said to him. He said, "Bro," because my brother does so. He said, "Bro, you need to eat." But yeah, no, but it's...
Yeah, I think it's just what you're used to from young, innit?
You're used
I don't think there's anything unique about it. I told you I ate it when I was young and I was like, as soon as I heard what it was...
Nice. It's not that nice.
As soon as someone said to me, "That's pork," the way I spat it out, something just inside.
Yeah, bro.
So I'm naturally not liking it because of how I've been raised.
Yeah.
So we all got the same mouths, bro. Yeah, it's just that what you're accustomed to from a young age. That's all it is.
Like, I'm not a great lover of normal bacon. It was the smoked flavour. Okay. So I'd always buy smoked bacon when I was young. That was it. It's not, that's what I'm saying, it's not the actual bacon that tastes the nicest.
Yeah, and even look, another further part, apart from that really, is when you become a Muslim and you really become a Muslim. You know, there's a difference between someone saying I'm a Muslim and submitting to Allah's will in life. Like someone can say I'm a Muslim, but when you tell them, "Oh, stop drinking," they're like, "Oh, I can't stop."
Yeah.
Because it hasn't entered you. Yeah, you believe in God. Yeah, you believe that Prophet ﷺ was a prophet, and you believe in all the stories, but the iman or the consciousness of that way of life hasn't hit you yet.
Yeah.
That doesn't even become anything normal. Drinking, smoking, whatever it is, doesn't even become anything because now your higher self is connected to something far greater than this. So the willingness to sacrifice is nothing now. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So I think it's a mediocre thing from the people in the beginning who believe in God, but they're more attached to the things that you have to give up than to the connection to their creator. But once you pass that line,
a lot of people focus on that. Oh, you can't
exactly. Exactly. But that's just the foundation.
They're not. It's not a major thing. When once you become it's part of your life, you don't even miss these things. They're 100%. Not. And with me especially, like I never did the thing, so it doesn't. A lot of people used to say to me, "I was like, oh, you don't drink." you must have a boring life. I'm like, well, why do I have a boring life? Because I don't
I have a
drink.
far better life.
That's what,
I remember what happened yesterday.
You need a drink and you
I'm
don't
trying to
know
say.
what you did in your life. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
It's like, I've seen my brother, my brother, even he's drunk, he's emotional, he don't know what he's doing. I'm like, bro, how's that fun? That's not a fun way to, like, I could, and I think that's what pushed me. It's an experience. I think that's what it is.
I was even thinking, was it today? I was thinking to myself, like, how is life like living like an atheist? Like, I can't imagine it. Like living life, just going to work, like just take salah out of the window, take, I don't know, make praying to God, you know, because there's salah and there's also like when you do your own thing and you say, look, I'm praying to God, not because he's told me to pray my 5 times a day, but I just want to just pray.
You just want to pray. Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Like, just take those two things out of my life and I think, what is life? Like, think about it. Like, what is life? I go to work.
Yeah.
I don't know. I play with my friends. I play PlayStation. Like, what is life?
Yeah,
Do you get it?
That's why I like coming to the match. When you come to the match, like, especially when I used to come to Fajr prayer. When I used to work night shift, I had to come straight from night shift to Fajr prayer. First one in, like, the peace, like, the whole world just goes away. And it's like, it's different. It's like such a different feeling.
You can't explain it.
Yeah, it's like you come and there's nothing. You don't think about anything, and it's just there.
You don't want to think about
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it all
Trying to
goes
get
away.
rid
That's
of
like a lot of people. Like when I try to explain that to people, they just don't understand.
That's
Like,
the
what I say to
therapy
them,
session right there.
When I go to the mosque, it's different. I say, he goes, I pray at home. I say, but it's different. I say, when I go there, it's a completely different experience. Like there's nothing I can explain to you that's the same. It's not. Yeah, man.
And imagine that, you know, you mentioned that because we had a discussion about Umrah. He wants to go to the
Yeah, definitely.
You went though, didn't you?
No.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
Yeah.
That was Alfie.
Yeah, Alfie.
But I'm just thinking, you know what, when you go to Medina and Mecca,
Yeah.
and then you see the atmosphere there and the peace. And
So that I was working with one Somali guy. He sent his mum to Umrah in Ramadan. So he wants to go himself.
You know, because you mentioned Fajr. There, it's the next level. Yeah, but you know, Bilal's been there. Bilal can explain. Fajr in Medina, Fajr in Mecca.
Yeah.
You know, even not in the masjid, the city. You're walking in the city and you just feel the peace and the vibe. But the other flip side was, you know, you mentioned about, look, somebody can do certain things which are keep away from vices. There's a lot of people who don't drink.
Yeah.
They might not even eat pork. They're non-Muslims. But the rewards are not there. Because for the sake of Allah Almighty. And the rewards, the peaceful rewards that you attain something for leaving it for the sake of Allah is much greater than just, you know, someone just doing it because they
It's there's a purpose to it. So I think, whereas if you're just people that just don't drink, it's like it's good for you.
Well, you get the worldly benefits.
Yeah.
But obviously we believe in hereafter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Which a lot of people don't believe. They think they're gonna go into the dust or whatever. So I think that's the difference, isn't it? Really, they see the beneficial. It's the same as a guy into the gym.
Yeah.
They're not looking at it from the perspective of, oh, I'm going gym, I'm gonna be strong. If something happens to my wife, my family, I can defend them, or I'm gonna do it. But our one is linked to Allah, that He's told us to be strong, masculine, whatever. That is the reward.
Yeah.
Are you necessarily just doing it for the reward? No, because it's a way of life as well. So you get the benefit of this world and you get the benefit of the hereafter. That's why, for me, I'm telling you, the more I grow up in life and I just read and keep learning, you just think people are missing out on being someone who worships.
Yeah.
Like when you worship in life, it only adds to your life. It doesn't take away from you anything that you already do. Do you get it?
It's only a bonus.
So why wouldn't you?
Everything. It makes you understand everything better as well. Because you literally that's what I struggle with. It's a purpose. If like I didn't know what like what's the purpose, and that's how I was thinking. Like I'm doing all this, but for what?
Yeah.
That's when I was working so hard. I'm like, why?
Why am I working?
Yeah, what am I doing it for?
And
And then that's when like my wife, my children come, and then it becomes a different thing. And when you worship, and you're like, now my goal is to see them in the afterlife,
Inshallah.
to be with them. It's a different goal, and it makes you appreciate everything way more better now. Like I appreciate all, like even my nan, she had some bad news from the hospital, but now it's cleared up, and it's like just the thought. I'm like, my nan's not Muslim, and I'm like, oh, she don't understand. Like that's what gets me as always. Like it's not. I think as a Reaver, it's understand like your family members are not Muslim, and the repercussions of that, and it's. And that's why when my wife took charge, it just broke me down. I had to pray. I was like, now like, I can see my wife. So it's like,
Yeah, that's a difficult one.
Yeah. So I'm saying, so you're living in like when your wife's not Muslim, and it's like you don't know. So it's like she's not following. It's like, and then once she did this, like, now I'm like,
yeah, or even having any relative. That's not. Do you get what I mean?
But that's what I'm saying. Even my daughters now, they're all asking, like, because they see, like, my oldest is autistic. Like, she doesn't understand much, but she understands what I'm doing. Like, she will see me get the prayer mat, and she'll be like, "Oh, is it Allah time?" I'm like, yeah. And just the little, and she understands. She goes, then she said to me, she said, "Can I be Allah?" And I said, "You mean Muslim?" And she's like, "Yeah, I want to be a Muslim." And then she started to try to pray. And then I was like, no, but that's what I'm saying, it's being aware. Like, my daughters, they're watching me, but I didn't realize how much they're watching me. Like, they just naturally want to pray now by watching me pray. So it's like,
and remember, like, everything's in Allah's plans.
Yeah.
But now these are the grandkids of your parents.
Yeah.
So they're gonna know when our grandkids are Muslim. Yeah, they're gonna have cousins, and the cousin will say, "Well, we've got cousins who are Muslim."
Yeah.
And inshallah, things, over time, things change. I mean, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the way Islam was in UK, it's not like today. It's very, very different.
Yeah, it's completely different now.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, it's becoming the norm that it's like.
So has it been Muslim and, I don't know, carpentry, for example, with the building industry, it's not easy.
It's tough, yeah. Because it's like,
Salah time.
Do you know what? To be fair, it's on site. It's a lot better now. Like, there is a lot more prayer facilities, and you do have a lot more stuff going on now. I would say that there is a lot more, like,
wearing your thobe, yeah. You make sure you're wearing your thobe there, yeah.
Oh, not on there. You can't be dusty as well. But yeah, no, they have like facilities and that. But it depends on. Yeah, they'll allow you to go and pray now. Yeah. Like, my boss would tell me, yeah, you go pray. Like, they do, yeah. It's not. But it depends on, the company you work for. Like, obviously, some can be, but it was tough being on there because the banter, again, it's like, "Oh, you're Muslim." And it's like, they don't understand it. But you're white, but you're Muslim. It's like when we went on the trip, remember when the guy was laughing? He said, "White Muslim." We went to the beach.
Okay.
We was there and you see him and the guy, they was laughing, innit? And you clocked it and then they stopped laughing because he's like, "Oh, you've never seen a white Muslim."
Okay. I don't remember.
Yeah, we went
to
to
Eastbourne.
on him. You did. Yeah, he was laughing. Because we was on the beach, innit? I didn't see him.
I do it so often, Sheikh. I don't know.
I didn't see them, and I was walking, and they was laughing. They was like, "Oh, white Muslim," and then you was like, "Well, you never seen a white Muslim?"
And when they be quiet.
Yeah, they were all quiet. But that was a good eye opener as well. That when we went to the beach, like, so many people was like watching us pray, and they didn't understand. You see, like, even the kids were asking questions, and the mum would give him a slap. And he was like, "What are they doing?" And he started to shout "bomb," and the mum slapped him.
No way! I didn't. Where am I? Like in Lala, like when all this happening.
Yeah, when we was praying,
Man said bomb.
Yeah. Because they never see. When we was at Eastbourne, I think there must have been 40 of us.
Yeah, there was about 40.
I should have called that little kid, man.
Yeah, there was about 40, but we was mid-prayer. So
okay.
I was at the front, so I heard him, innit?
We should have had one man on guard, man. What's going on in, man? We was slacking. No, but on a serious note, that topic, do you see with the brother in France?
Yeah, he died, in Salah, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. He walked in and he asked him to teach him how to pray.
Man said, "Teach me how to pray."
And as soon as he went down to say,
and stabbed him up.
Yeah. But this is not.
You didn't see on ITV.
How much is that in the news?
You didn't see on
this
BBC.
Is not a terrorist attack.
Bro, that's,
If that was the other way around, bro, and I went into a church and said, "Show me how to pray," and then you done that to a man in a church.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The whole Muslim community will be.
We have to say sorry for him. He's not part of Islam.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's a bad one. That's
no, but so that's why I brought it a bit to the serious. It sounds like a joke. The bomb, we're laughing because he's a little kid.
But
that kid is hearing it from someone else.
Yeah, that's why the adult, because he realizes there's a lot of Muslims in that.
Not even adult, media.
Yeah.
Media, but who's watching that?
Yeah, true.
But yeah, it comes from.
And if you hear that as an adult, like for example, if I hear something wrong about another nation with my kids, I'm not going to be I'm just going to let that slide. I'll say, "No, that's a bit wrong, kids."
I think she gave him a sleep.
I hear that. I hear that.
But that was, I think, more out of. Yeah, I think that's more like be quiet.
Yeah. Stop being rude.
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
but-
You're saying it too loudly.
Don't say it too loud. They might really bomb us.
But yeah, a lot of people were looking, but that's because they're not used to it. Because
Yeah,
they
yeah.
got that small masjid there, and it's that small, so they don't really have a. So when they
It's
see
positive,
40
remember we
people
spoke
praying,
about,
Yeah. Majority they are positive.
Plymouth?
No, we went all the way to Thing, man.
Portsmouth or Plymouth?
No,
Plymouth.
no. The one you're talking about is when we went all the way to.
Yeah, Plymouth.
It wasn't Plymouth, Sheikh. It was like the other way, man.
That is Plymouth.
Starts
man.
with C. It's not Plymouth.
Cornwall.
Cornwall.
Oh, yeah.
Plymouth is in
I have a lot of
Cornwall.
family.
No,
back
it's
there,
not.
Cornwall is a county.
No, it's not.
Yeah, Cornwall is a county.
I'm telling you, Plymouth. Go and do the research, big man.
Like Cornwall's like a area, yeah. You have Devon and Cornwall, the areas.
One
Like,
second. Plymouth is in the north. It's in the
Southwest.
southwest.
South-
It's near.
Southwest, sorry. Southwest, I'm saying this way.
Listen, go back to-
Southwest. And Cornwall's all the way in that way.
It's all one
No,
region.
it's in the
south.
corner. They're in the region. You have
I'm
Plymouth,
telling you.
Have a
Devon,
look, man.
and Cornwall. Yeah,
No, man's trying to stick it on with my geography. Cornwall, yeah?
yeah. It's near Devon and Plymouth. It is. It is.
GCSE geography.
Huh? I went to flipping the school that didn't teach us that, obviously. Plymouth is in Cornwall.
Yeah, it's
Cornwall's a
down
county,
there, yeah.
like Essex.
It's like an area. Yeah, it's a big. It's like a.
Surrey. Look.
Why the flip? Well, we're doing our own times. I'm sure I'm right, but anyway. We went Cornwall. I don't know about Plymouth. Yeah. And that's where, it was very positive.
Yeah.
Majority of people are positive, to be fair, but you do obviously have this.
Yeah, but but I think it's good exposure. Like that, them seeing us pray there, that there was no trouble.
And not being
There's nothing-
unapologetic.
like we didn't get in people's way.
Yeah.
We just did our own thing. It was that and gone. It's
You
a
know,
very
Umrah,
good.
Umrah is the most diverse group.
Yeah. So I wouldn't-
Everybody was looking. Everybody wanted to talk. You know, you got Alfie, Danny,
Yeah.
you know, white, black brothers, Caribbean brothers. It was a proper mix
Whereas the other nations, they go with their.
with their own, you know. It's
Yeah.
like-
Yeah. But that's why I like Lewisham Masjid though, because you come here, there's such a different, like so many different people here. Like you don't.
Very diverse.
I think that's what made it so easy for me to come to the mosque as well, because like you don't feel out of place. I came in, I see white people, I see, like, I mean, you're seeing all different nations. It's like, okay, I don't feel out of place here.
Yeah. No.
Whereas I suppose you could go to some mosque and you might feel a little bit out of place.
Yeah, you can go to certain areas, obviously,
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm
it'll
saying.
be more cultural, but I don't think they intentionally
It's
make it cultural.
but
Just
I think
might
it's
be the
just Lewisham as
demographic
now is becoming that sort of,
mixed.
like there's more people accepting it now. And now it's creating a diverse community. So it's,
Yeah.
All right, cool. So just maybe finalizing now. Obviously, you've been Muslim 2.5 years. MashaAllah, wife is Muslim.
Yep.
Alhamdulillah, you have a whole house. May Allah protect it. I mean,
I
and maybe what advice would you give to people that was in your position? We know there's many reverts. There's maybe even non-Muslims that watch the show. What advice would you give to them?
is just look into it for yourself. Like ignore. You have to take away the outside noise. You have to. For anyone that's going to look into that, you have to make your own assumptions on something. You can't look in like on someone else's opinion, because you're never going to find the truth. So you need to put that groundwork in and actually take the steps to learning about Islam, and if it's right for you, then alhamdulillah, take your shahada. But you have to put that groundwork in. You have to look.
And what would you say once you become Muslim then? What for you, maybe what a principle that you've lived by that maybe benefit you the most?
Come to the masjid
regularly.
Yeah. I think that's what got me through that early stage. I think I would have struggled if I wasn't coming to the masjid early, because where I live so close, I was coming so frequently. You have to, because I think especially where I came and not so many Muslims around me outside, it can drive you away if you haven't got that connection. I think because that's why I come to the masjid. There's Muslims there. When I'm at work, there's no Muslims. So it was that hard, like to be Muslim and there's nothing Islamic around you is very hard.
Yeah.
I think that's is come to the masjid is the main thing.
Yeah, barakallah feek, man. It was a very insightful conversation. May Allah, like I said, protect your family, increase them in iman, give you more khair, inshallah. And for those watching, we'll catch you on the next one. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.